Have you ever looked across the room at the person you love and felt something was just off? Not enough to prove anything, not enough to call it out directly, but enough that a quiet voice inside you whispered that something wasn't right. For Daniel Carter, that whisper had been echoing louder each day. His wife, Jessica, still smiled at him, still kissed him goodnight, but behind her eyes, there was a distance that hadn't been there before. She laughed more at her phone than she did at his jokes. She dressed up for errands but stayed in sweats when they had dinner together. Daniel wasn't the jealous type. He believed in trust, in giving his partner space, in living by the simple Stoic rule that love without freedom isn't love at all. But Stoicism also teaches that reality must be faced as it is, not as we wish it to be. And reality, in his gut, told him Jessica was hiding something. He knew that if he went snooping through her purse or tracking her car, he'd betray his own principles. Instead, he remembered something his grandfather once told him: if you want the truth, don't demand it. Ask the right questions. The truth shows itself. That's exactly what he did. And the answers, or rather, the way Jessica reacted to them, told him more than any locked phone or secret message ever could. The first time he asked, it was casual. "Where were you last night?" he said with a smile, as they cleaned up dinner. Jessica froze for half a second. She laughed nervously, rattling off a story about running errands, grabbing coffee, bumping into an old friend, and losing track of time. Too many details, Daniel thought. A loyal woman would have just said, "Target and back." That pause, that flood of over-explaining, it was louder than any confession. A few days later, he asked again, this time in a different way. "Why didn't you answer my call earlier?" It was harmless enough, every couple asks this sometimes. Jessica blinked, fumbling for words, then muttered something about not hearing the phone. But Daniel knew her phone was glued to her hand. She never missed calls from her mom or her friends. The way her cheeks flushed told him the excuse wasn't for him, it was for herself. Daniel stayed calm. A Stoic doesn't explode in anger, he observes. So he tried a different approach. One evening, as they sat on the couch, he stretched out his hand and asked, "Mind if I use your phone for a second?" He asked it like a man reaching for the TV remote. Jessica's reaction was immediate. She clutched it tighter, narrowing her eyes. "Why? Don't you trust me?" she snapped. It wasn't about the phone. It was about the storm behind her eyes, the way her chest rose and fell too quickly. She was guarding something, and it wasn't just her privacy. Still, Daniel gave her the benefit of the doubt. "Who's that guy you've been texting a lot lately?" he asked one night, keeping his tone light. Jessica almost choked on her water. She laughed too loudly, too quickly, then got defensive. "Why are you spying on me? He's just a coworker." A faithful partner would have shrugged, maybe even handed him the phone to show a string of work messages. But guilt makes people defensive. Her answer wasn't really an answer at all. Daniel decided to set a clever trap. "Hey, can I drop you off at work tomorrow?" he offered with a grin. For years, Jessica had loved when he drove her, loved those early morning coffees in the car. But now, she waved him off instantly. No, it's too much trouble. I'll just take an Uber." Her refusal wasn't about convenience, it was about control. She didn't want him anywhere near the place she claimed she was going. Then came the change in her appearance. Jessica had always been beautiful, but suddenly she was glowing in a way that didn't quite add up. New dresses, new perfume, heels for quick grocery runs. Daniel teased her gently one evening, "Why are you dressing up so much lately?" Jessica rolled her eyes. Can't a woman want to look nice for herself? Her voice was sharp, almost rehearsed. Daniel knew her well enough to know when she was dodging. But what broke him wasn't her clothes. It was the distance. One night, as they lay in bed, he turned to her and asked quietly, "Why do you seem so far away lately?" Jessica sighed, staring at the ceiling. "I'm just stressed." No attempt to reassure him, no reaching for his hand, no warmth. Stress comes and goes. Coldness is different. Coldness is chosen. Finally, Daniel asked the boldest question of all. "If I asked you right now, are you being 100% loyal to me, what would you say?" Jessica's eyes darted away. She laughed, but it was hollow. "Of course I am. Don't be ridiculous. But her voice cracked just slightly, and her hand trembled as she brushed her hair back. It wasn't the words that gave her away, it was everything else. That night, Daniel sat alone in the living room, staring at the darkened window. He wasn't angry. He wasn't even surprised. He was simply clear. Stoicism had taught him that people reveal themselves not with grand gestures, but in their smallest reactions. Jessica's answers had been a confession without her ever saying the words. And that's the truth men often overlook. It's not the message on the phone, the lipstick on the shirt, or the unexplained late nights that first reveal an affair. It's the hesitation, the defensiveness, the sudden distance. If she has nothing to hide, your questions will never bother her. But if she's cheating, every simple question will feel like a spotlight burning through her excuses. So, if you ever feel something is off, don't accuse, don't spy, don't rage. Ask calmly. Watch closely. The truth is always there, hiding in plain sight. And remember this, in love, as in life, the Stoic path is not about forcing answers. It's about observing reality as it is. Ask the right